Hello friends, this is Abhishek Jha from Ad Street Communications. Today we will be discussing the difference between a product and a brand. Well, I'm sure a lot of people already know that product is a service or an item that the company manufactures for the consumers to use. Well, that's the textbook definition. Well, according to us, product is very transactional in nature versus a brand has got a lot of emotional connect attached to it. This is exactly what we're going to talk about. How do you make sure that you are not launching a product but a brand? But before we get into it, let me tell you one important statistic which might surprise you. In India, about 90% of startups fail within the first 5 years. Well, there might be a lot of reasons attached to it. Probably the idea might not be that innovative, or the business model was not right, or the operations were not executed correctly. Might be different other reasons. However, one important reason that we cannot ignore is not getting the right connect with the consumers. And let us tell you, if you are not able to emotionally connect with with the consumers, you would not be able to sustain in the market in today's world. And that's very critical for today's new age consumers. They need to see some amount of reflection of themselves in the product or the brand that they're associated with. Now, we completely understand that as entrepreneurs, your first priority is to get the product right. I'm sure there's a lot of research gone behind getting the product right, establishing a need gap, right? And then you have 100 other things to look after. For example, getting the right distribution plan, the partners, right? So one thing which is very clearly playing on every entrepreneur's mind is let me focus on the product. Let me focus on what's happening on ground. Now, if it's an online product, the entire focus is on the development, getting the customer journey right, making sure that there is no bug in the entire product, whether it is e-commerce or a travel portal for that matter. But what we cannot simply ignore are two things. One, getting the right brand positioning, and second, ensuring that you have positioned the product in the correct way in front of the consumers. Right now, also another important thing that I want to highlight, and I'm very proud to say this, that we are in a very exciting phase today. There is a wave of startups, and there does exist a lot of SMEs in the country today who have successfully got the product right. Right? We've got a huge consumer base. That means the playground is huge, and the possibility of getting the product successful is also huge. Right? I think the entire world is looking back at our country because it's a very potent market. Right? If we are able to ensure that we get the branding game right, we will have a successful brand in the market. Okay? Now, we obviously cannot ignore the fact that while you're getting the product right, while you're kind of ensuring that the product quality is of top notch, you need the right marketing consultation. You need the right marketing strategy. Right? Now, let me give you an example for this. I'm sure a lot of people watching this video will really connect to this. One brand that I would want to talk about is Nike. Now, I'm sure everyone knows what Nike sells, right? Every runner, every fitness athlete really has a good association with the brand. Now, there are two ways to look at it. I really like what Nike manufactures. However, can you really think through why do you every time think of Nike when you're thinking about running shoes, right? Well, what Nike has successfully done is sell an emotion more than the shoes that they manufacture. They sell an aspiration to all the athletes in the world to go out and put their best foot forward. They give an inspiration to the entire community, right? And if I belong to that community, my obvious choice would be buying a Nike shoe. Let's look at another example. Right? Apple. I'm sure there would be a lot of loyal customers of this brand. Um, why do you buy Apple? Right? Uh, Apple does not sell or rely on the fact. Of course, they make sure that the product is of top notch. However, they don't rely selling their computers or iPad or iPhones on the fact that this is my configuration of the product and this is how I'm going to sell it. Well, that is a byproduct. Everyone knows that if it's an Apple product, the quality is going to be great. But what they've done is they have really stood out and spoken out aloud. Why do they exist in the market today? They represent innovation. They represent a community which believes in creativity. Right? They're not only talking about the product. In fact, the product is a byproduct. Right? So they always make sure that they correlate what they are selling with a set of people who believe in thinking differently, right? And that's very inspirational. Right now, also, let me tell you, a lot of brands, when they are at a nascent stage, they need the right consultation, like I spoke earlier, or even a lot of SMEs who've got a great product, but they want to convert their product into a brand to enter into new markets, to make sure that there is an extension of product line, etc. They need the right strategy. Now, what do we mean when we're saying right strategy? Well, it's very important to know what will make sure that the consumers connect with the brand. What is the communication strategy that they're going to come up with? What is the brand positioning that a particular brand is going to adapt? That's very important, right? Considering the fact that you must have got the product right, and you've got the distribution plan right, or you know where you're going to sell your product, whether it is online, whether it is offline, right? That's a given. If that's not ready, which means you're not ready to come out in the market, right? However, if you've got that right, what needs to be taken care of? How are you going to be singular in creating an association with the consumers? Today, there's a lot of clutter of media, whether it is TV, print, radio, digital. There's a lot of social media platforms, right? However, what you should be avoiding is talking too many things about your product, right? That will not land you anywhere. What we need to do is ensure that we talk about one thing that really resonates with the consumers. The other aspect that we need to look at is whether you are a startup or you are an SME who wants to create a brand. I'm sure you would not, would believe that the best way to go forward is spend a lot of media, money on media. Look at TV ads, look at radio spots, spend a lot of money on digital, because a lot of brands in the past have taken brand ambassadors, they've gone ahead and pumped money in media and still have managed to fail. One of the reasons is, again, like I was saying earlier, they were not able to have a strong brand positioning. They were not able to connect with the brand. So it is a blessing in disguise if you're in this position where you have limited budgets, right? When I'm saying limited budgets good enough to ensure that you can back a good idea or you can back a good brand positioning. Right now, let me give you a couple of examples, or rather, one strong example, in the Indian market. The example that I'm going to talk about is Paperboat. Right? What does it sell? It sells packet juices. Right? What they've really made is a product of spices which are naturally available. There's no rocket science in that. Of course, they've got their research in place. They've got the product right. The taste is good. Firstly, what they got right is the packaging. They are really differentiating themselves from the competitors in the way they are packaging their product in the form of pouches. They've got the groundwork ready, right? They've got the right distribution channels, the right partners to ensure that if I generate demand, there is going to be availability of my product, right? And that's the base of it, right? But why the brand is very successful is the kind of positioning that they have, gone for, right? What they've really spoken about is nostalgia, right? Old memories. Now, if I look at everyone who's watching this video, who does not like, their previous good memories? Who does not like their summer vacations, their good memories with their mother, all right, or drinks that their mother used to make at home, so there's a lot of memories, which old memories that the brand has tried to get in to establish a connect with the consumer. Now, what they've done beautifully is, and that's a great learning for any brand or anyone who's got a good product, who's going to convert it into a good brand, is the fact that they have considered this thought as a thread, and they've ensured that they carry this forward when they're doing a TV commercial, a digital film, a social media post, or any communication that goes from the brand. Now, another important aspect is, by doing this, they have made sure that the consumers really, really remember the brand. Because a lot of entrepreneurs think that, if I focus too much on brand building, what about sales? Now, let me assure you one thing, that if you get the branding right, the sales will follow. It will go hand in hand, right? So, and that's the magic of it. Today we buy Fevicol because we know, we remember the brand. Today, anyone who buys toothpaste, goes to the store and says Colgate. That's a given, right? Because they've got the branding right. They've ensured that the customers remember singularly about them, and one strong brand positioning. So Colgate talks about taking care of the cavity, right? That's their brand promise, and they've stuck to that. It's been decades, it's been years that they've carried this thought forward, right? Now, what does AdStreet do, right? AdStreet Communication is on a journey to ensure that startups and SMEs can successfully convert their product into brands, right? We are here to give the right strategy to the startups and SMEs, making sure that whenever you're spending your marketing budget, it's towards creating the right brand positioning, which ensures that there are sales generated to make sure that the customers remember your brand. Right now, there are a lot of other examples that I can give, like Bira or Patanjali for that matter. Like Patanjali has stuck to one brand positioning, which is about being Swadeshi, right? And that is what they taken forward for all their products, and that's got them into a position that they can call themselves as a really, really strong brand. Right now, if you want to know how AdStreet approaches to create a strong strategy, to create a brand, to get the right launch strategy, you can log on to adstreetcommunications.com, look at the strategy video. You can place a call with one of our strategy consultants, wherein we would be calling you up, getting to know about your business to give you the right kind of solution. I hope you were able to get a glimpse of how important it is to create a brand and not a product, right? Signing off today, this is Abhishek Jha from AdStreet Communications.